I've been thinking a lot lately about making art. Why I make it, specifically. With the prevalence of AI art slop infesting every corner of the internet, it's hard to not occasionally start feeling like it's never gonna be worth it. And that's on top of everything happening in my country right now. We don't have to get into that part. I've been making art for practically my whole life. I didn't start taking it seriously until I was almost an adult, and I was lucky to finally get to a place in my life that I could really buckle down in the last few years. And well, you're not supposed to place your worth on your work with views and likes and whatever, but we both know it's hard not to. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. Art created with AI prompts is not worth it. Every prompt typed into Midjourney, every question you could have asked Google that you plug into ChatGPT instead costs immeasurable water and energy usage. Don't do it. If you do it, stop. Please. Leaving out literally everything else, the environmental costs are not worth it. But I'd be lying if I said I hadn't been curious. If the energy usage of AI wasn't so horrific, I can't confidently say that I wouldn't have dabbled in trying to generate a few images. I'm a slow worker, and when my health dips, I end up needing to spend my energy keeping myself and the house clean and my part-time job nailed down. The Pandora's box plonked in front of me might as well come with a user manual with "This could save you so much time" stamped across the front. And to the less discerning eye, a lot of AI-generated content is good enough. The speed with which we consume visual content on social media means glossing over some of the odder eccentricities of AI artifacts is extremely easy. Like, how often did you notice if an artist added a sixth finger before 2023? How closely were you scrutinizing the folds in a character's clothes? Or where the strands of their hair did and did not connect? Realistically, scrolling through Twitter or Instagram, unless you really take the time to absorb and examine a piece, details that AI trips over are easy to skip. Add on top even the slightest ability to edit or paint over generated images, and I can see the appeal of easily slapping down the main lattice work of an illustration before going from there. But I always catch on one thing. I like the process of making art. Sure, there are parts that I consider a chore on any given day, or there are bits I'd like to be able to skip over, but overall, the actual process of sitting down and making something is at least 50% of the appeal to me. Every time I sit down to work on a comic or an illustration, I have a story I want to be telling. Even if that story is sometimes, "Hey, look how hot my OC is." I can't trust a machine to know exactly what I want, no matter how advanced its model gets. I can't trust it to understand panel layout or word balloon placement, character body language, facial expression, and any number of subtle details I try to include are all things a machine would skip over. I can't trust a machine to understand artistic intention, just what it interprets as generally acceptable based on the art it's stolen. The more details you want, the more energy you put into the work, and at that point, why not just pick up a pencil? There's a sense of accomplishment when something turns out exactly the way you'd like. Every time a detail is noticed, or the panel flows correctly, or the overall color story ends up cohesive, I know that I've learned a little bit more and the next piece will be even better. If I were to leave that up to a prompt reading machine, then what will I have learned? Realistically, what part of the process have I contributed to enough that I feel like this thing is my own? I suffered from my own bout of idea guyitis when I was younger, so trust me, I understand the want to just get your idea out there. But even then, I knew I wouldn't be content being a glorified executive producer on any of the wild and overreaching projects that I envisioned. Now, more than ever, I feel myself needing to continue to create. In these unprecedented times, or what the hell ever, I'll take any form of control I can claw together with my shaking, tired hands. And in that way, I still understand the impulse to plug in your super special idea to a computer and get something that's maybe 50% of that foggy image that you saw in your head. But I want that work to be mine. I want everything to be mine. From the missteps to the triumphs to the lessons I take away so I can come back even better the next time. I want to tell those stories the way I want to tell them, without relying on an overworked set of ones and zeros to find the exact middle ground of everything it's read up on and spit back in some sepia-toned, sanded down amalgamation of other people's work. Even this video, which I'll celebrate if it breaks 10 views, I want it to be mine. And in the end, really, why would I expect anyone to spend time appreciating or wanting art that I didn't care enough to make? So I'm gonna keep plugging away. I'm gonna keep drawing my comics and my silly little illustrations, and I'm gonna keep trying and failing and triumphing and learning, because when I don't, something inside of me writhes and screams and demands to be let out. The beast must be fed, and I'll continue to give to it gladly. Does anyone want to join me?